right, and we're back once again. I think I'll let these guys go ahead and open their own mics for now. My name is Leland Best, host of the show Best AI Podcast, and we're coming to you from both my profile on Facebook, probably YouTube at Best AI TV, and also you should be able to see us out on LinkedIn on my page. So, welcome to the broadcast. If you've never seen us before, again, Leland Best. Up to my top left is Jim, or top right. I'm sorry, it depends on which way I'm looking at my camera. Jim Hankins of Cloud
Your other
Bedrock.
right.
Yeah, my other right, along with Kyrie Taylor of Sekou Designs. A few of them couldn't make it today. One in particular, Ross McCamey, and Lee Love. We don't know where he's at. We think aliens may have picked him up already and taken him to another planet. So we're just hoping he does come around one of these days to say hi again. This is going to be an exciting podcast, I think. I've got some pretty cool news. And then, of course, we've got some exciting news from Jim as well. And we're hoping Kyrie's going to bring something to the table. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him before the show. So we're just going to see what flies today. Ray and I sat down yesterday talking about what he was doing over there, and he brought up Manus AI. So I'm going to kind of give Kyrie the table here right off the bat when it comes to Manus. It's a new platform out there, and honestly, I'm going to make the joke about it because I have to. There's another one that came out right behind it, Kyrie. You can talk about that one as well. Feel free. They dropped the M off the front, makes it a whole nother story to talk about in the end. But give us the rundown, Kyrie. What's going on over at manus.im? It's not an AI domain. So
yeah, it's
I'll
weird.
put it on the screen later.
So what's interesting about so I mean, ultimately, for anybody who knows kind of like the differences between the different tiers of ChatGPT, I think it's the most accessible way to talk about it. So you've got the free tier, then you have I think it's $20 a month tier, and then you have the $200 per month tier that gives you access to the operator. So Manus is a big competitor to OpenAI's most expensive tier, and the functionality within them. The OpenAI operator, Manus is different in that it can work completely on its own. While OpenAI's operator, it still needs some level of human input. So the price to use these AI agents is going up. But right now, access to Manus is invite only, so it's fairly expensive to run. But OpenAI may also cost more, right? Yeah. So I think that's a big deal to consider when you're thinking about how these things will impact the industry as a whole. But they come in different price tiers, man. And this one it's the new DeepSeek. It is disrupting the entire industry around operator type agentic flows and being able to be on its own to go out there on the interwebs, or you give it some instruction sets and it just goes out there and does what you ask it.
Yeah, the quote has been heard around the globe so far with Manus is the AI agent we were promised. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is basically Manus in action. And what that means is it's doing a deep analysis of whatever you propose it to analyze. And in this case, it's a property research. So they're simply asking the individual to do a safe neighborhood, low crime, 2 children looking for a place, got a monthly incomes of 50K. So it's going to go out and do the research. It's going to go hit the websites. It's going to go do the Chamber of Commerce links. It's going to go look for stuff relative to the locations they talked about, develop an entire synopsis of that evaluation analysis that it has to do. So it's a due diligence machine, really, when it comes down to it. And I think it's pretty cool. It does another analysis here of a Tesla stock analysis that it did it within an hour. And any other economic analyst out there, I can't speak today, right here it is, mentioned that the job that it did here in an hour would have taken an individual 2 weeks to do on their own. So when you consider the time savings alone, that was produced just by this build, it's pretty stunning.
I think it just shines an even bigger light on how businesses are ultimately going to pay for. A lot of people are saying people want like businesses are going to go AI instead of people. I think what this shows a light to is, as an evolution of that ideology, it's like businesses are also going to pay for AI instead of software.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because it can handle whatever software you want it to.
Yeah. And here's some of the benchmarks for the Gaia benchmark as far as level 1, level 2, and level 3 analysis goes. You can see Manus is kind of running the pack right above deep research right now with OpenAI. So pretty interesting stuff. Jim, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with Crib Ops? I know we haven't seen you for a few days. We
Yeah,
lose
I've been
track of you for a while every now and then. So tell us
deep undercover. Yeah. So I will be launching today the latest version of CrypOps, which is a now delivered via a Docker container. CrypOps is a way to simplify uh, getting yourself a production ready webhook in front of your automation. So we handle the front door for your webhook. We have load balancers and a durable job system that's in between you and the webhook. We make sure that the webhooks that are received on your behalf are available to you, even if you happen to go out because you have an internet problem or host problem or what have you. We deliver that. You can get started with just a couple of commands. We deliver you a CLI that's in Windows, Mac, and Linux. Or if you don't want to install that, you can run that via Docker container. And yeah, you can get up and running in just a couple secs and log in. It's a web-based UI to create your webhooks. And also, we added an extra little sneaky thing in between, which is we integrate with Anyden directly. So you'll be able to add multiple Anyden nodes into your CrypOps, and then CrypOps will provision credentials in each of your nodes to make it easier to have Anyden talk to each other to hand off workflows. So that doesn't matter whether you're using the community edition, self-hosted, or cloud instances. Will essentially make that super easy to connect them all together. So that's it. It'll be out today, criboffice.com, and go check us out.
Absolutely. And what are the price points on that then, Jim? I didn't
Yeah.
actually head over. Let me do that real quick before
Yeah.
you mention them. I'll grab the screen again.
Yeah, because then you're going to put me on the spot that I'd actually remember that, since
exactly.
that's not something I've looked at in a while.
There's sometimes
But yeah,
I don't remember my own pricing schemes. I go back and I get someone says, "How much do you charge for that?" And I'm like, "Hell, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
there
gotta
you
go
go.
back and look myself."
Yeah, so we have both month to month and annual. Month to month, no commitment, and annual. You save 2 months free, just like everybody else does, right? On the month to month, and it's basically just a combination of how many API requests you can get a month, as well as how many concurrent instances you can be running. So on the bottom end there, you have the $19 a month, 100,000 API requests per month. So you compare that to something like a Zapier or Make, on what they're able to give you. Obviously you pair that up with a community edition of Anyden, and you can do a ton of workflows. And then we just jump up from there. So up the tiers, you have more nodes, more requests, and our top level is 1 million requests per month at $149 a month.
Yet. It's going to be a while. What would you figure? What kind of user would need 1 million requests a month, Jim?
Agencies. Yeah, agencies that are managing automations for individuals that are doing things that are more high volume, things like reactivation campaigns, email enrichment, those kinds of things where there's a ton of data moving through it. Yeah,
gotcha. Makes sense.
Could also be telemetry for devices.
Yep. So do you have your self-hosted up yet, Kyrie? Do you have something running in-house?
Yeah, no, not yet. No,
not yet.
Only thing I have self-hosted is a little side project I'm working on with an AI agent. But yeah, nothing as grandiose as the CrypOps.
I started to put mine to the test for sure, as far as an M1 goes, which is what I'm using in-house. I hope to get an M4 or 5 here before long, but I was putting it to the hard test, running like 1,000 emails through it at a time and seeing how it could process those. And sometimes I don't know if it was the speed of the processing. I tried to rate limit it enough where it was like 1 per second that it was going through as far as classifications go, because it already had stored the memory for the emails. And then it just needed to go through and decide what the email was for. And that's what it was doing. So I'm going to show you guys what I put together. First thing I'm going to do is give you the inside look of my Gmail account. So I'm going to first start off with just a single screen here. I hope this works. Yep. So as you can see, this is my inbox at Best Studios LLC at Gmail, which is where I receive pretty much every bit of email that I get now. My personal email account under my name, I kind of shifted away from because it was just getting so bad that I couldn't do anything about it. And I went looking. Jim, I don't know if you have, Kyrie, I don't know if you have ever Google searched trying to find inbox zero. And there's really nothing out there. what I have found are ways to, like Jim mentioned earlier before the show, dump your whole account and, start fresh, or just make them all, throw them into a
Dev
dead
null.
letter hold, dead null, and never read them again and just start fresh. That's one way to go.
Freedom.
But I wasn't sure I could do that with this account. I could with my other account, I'm sure, if I wanted to. But I didn't want to do that with this account. So the way we do this is through N8N right now, but we're going to put a front end face on this, hopefully with Jim's help or anyone else's help that works with me on this, that we can make it an easy enter your email and password, and it goes to town with your creds, gets into your account, sets up the platform that we need it to do, and then goes through the filtering process. Now, originally I did this in 2 steps. So the first processor has to use basically a bulk process to get in. So you can see here, these are activated and unactivated. Right now it's set up for a test workflow as they come in as incoming mail. But what I had to do here was basically assign a task for the agent to do. And the first thing is it's autonomous because it's robotic and not AI. As it goes into the Google account, it looks for the inbox categories for updates, promotions, and unread. And then it comes back through and sends it through an LLM step. Now, this LLM step is what the beauty and the business behind the machine is. And it determines by category how it's going to identify the mail to be urgent, support, bills, comms, and this is internal communications for the business, legal items, inquiries from customers or just off the street, sales mails from people you may have as vendors, or just off the street, cold emails coming in for marketing and spam. We kind of break them down, but this is going to get refiltered anyway. And then privacy mails that might just be family oriented, or medical mails or something like that from your doctor, whatever. We've been playing with different models to get it to work, but what we found, honestly, and even been told by OpenAI, is that their 4.0 and 3.5 chat models are the best suited for this type of categorization that we're trying to do. In order to have the output come out relatively consistent, we're using an auto fixing output parser, which is using a structured output, simple type category as to how it's going to categorize the email. But sometimes we have mail that's jangled up, or it's just encoded, or it's just got garbage in it that, it's got a bunch of advertising links and things like that. And it has a hard time parsing some data from it. So we use this just to make sure it doesn't fail over. And then from there, what it has to do is go in and tag these mails. Oops, wrong roll there. Tag these mails with those same IDs that we put on them. And this has to be done individually. It's the only way Gmail lets us do it. And then we remove the tags for the inbox and the categorized, whatever it came in as, if it was an update or a promotion or what have you. Now, we can't touch any of Google's mail when it comes to the sponsored mail that comes in. You see that labeled sponsored here. And the promos, I've still had a little bit of tough time now and then trying to get these to filter out. So I'm not certain how Google is identifying the promo emails. But what I managed to do was create 5 major categories, okay, on this system. And that was urgent, comms, support, requests, and sales. So how do you guys normally filter your mail on Gmail? Do you use tags? Do you use categories? Do you do it at all? I'll ask you first, Jim. What do you do?
Yeah, so I don't filter on Google at all. I typically use the email client. In the past, I used, like, on the whole inbox zero thing, I used like a smart client, Superhuman, but that's a subscription based, and it's only it only works with Google. And so, yeah, so I use the mail client itself, and I'm pretty simplistic. It's like I put people in VIP. I might use small. I'm on a Mac, so I'll use smart folders and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is super intriguing to me. In adding more classifications for because right now, like with VIP, of course, you have to know what their email is. And if somebody emails you from a different email, which happens all the time, like I have customers that are, emailing me directly instead of using the ticket system. If you're out there, use a ticket system. But but yeah, so they'll send a direct support request via email instead of that's like my biggest challenge is that, right? Is I miss a customer support request because it's just from some unknown email that I don't have a record of.
That's a good point. And this is basically the backend settings for the labels and the categories within Google. Now, they don't give you much to work on when it comes to categories. They basically have categorized your mail for you in a sense. You can only change the label colors and show or hide the categories, which are basically just for show or social updates, forums, and promotions. And that's all you have. So as far as the labels go, they do have some of their system labels that you have to consider. And these are the ones that we use inside the automation to identify and find the mail that we're looking for. And then from there, we create our own labels. And in this sense, we could automate this. It's a one push automation to do so, but it does have to be done prior to the system running. So we have to establish this architecture within the mail client up front so that it can use it. And that, again, is a simple process. So I'll show you the overall of that. I should be able to if it's in here. Let me double check. I think it's on this side. Yeah, so this is the incoming version. So we would run the first one to filter all the mail through and get it done. And then that way it's tagged, it's filtered, it's in the proper folders that it needs to be in, and we get it outside of all the others. This is the little corner system here where to create the tags, we just run it once and it goes in and creates these tags for us inside the Google account. That way we can then assign this agent to just go ahead and start filtering into those tags. Now, the difference between Google and Microsoft 365 is huge because Microsoft doesn't use tags at all. It uses folders. And it's actually an easier method because then we can just create folders on the fly based on what we need a folder for and just move the mail into the folder. So there are two different processes we can use here. And we're looking to use both. But the beauty of this one was actually the fact that, oh, if I could use the right button, we can then, when a mail comes back, let's say this gets dropped into the folder and tagged as an income, the incoming tag is removed, the promotional tag is removed, or the updated tag is removed. Now it's down in its folder and it doesn't show up in your inbox anymore. Okay, that's what has to be done in order to remove it from your inbox. Then if it gets a response, now let's say we have some emails that we don't want to spend the time to respond to. Say there's support emails from your customers, or their bills from people that you don't really want to pay, or whatever they might be.
That's all of them.
Yeah, internal comms or inquiries from people off the street. We've also built up, you could build an entire business database of information that would be relayed to those people, whether it's SOPs, product and service offerings, or even just internal workings of your business. Then this can go ahead and create, literally on the fly, its own, by its own knowledge. We're not doing much with that, to send an email automatic. And this is what we got yesterday when Ross sent an email to the system. He said, "Hey, Leland, I wanted to see how the zero inbox job is going. We're getting hit up left and right by people wanting it. Great job." And this was the email that was distributed by the AI. "Hi, Ross. Thanks for reaching out regarding the job collab. I appreciate your interest and would be delighted to further discuss how we can work together on this opportunity. Please let me know a convenient time for you to connect, or feel free to share more details about your vision for the collab. Looking forward to your response. Best regards." And of course, it didn't have my name in there, so it just went with a templated name. But I think you guys see the power of this. And then he was able to respond. So what we're working on next is getting a hold of the thread ID and then working out a process of either do we continue the communication with email, but no, we're probably just going to hand it off to an AI agent right away. So that once this email hits, it goes to them, it's going to say, "Hey, great, thanks for reaching out. Now, would you please connect with this or book a meeting with us here?" Then you've got that step already taken care of, and then it can just go into an AI nurturing cycle. Excuse me, I got a bug in my throat here. An AI nurturing cycle that would allow it to just run on autonomously. So that's what we're building. That's what we've put together, and I've managed to honestly get to a point where it sends me my mail to spam that needs to go to spam. My promotions get wiped out within an hour. My updates come in long enough for me to take a look at them, but I still need to determine what Google's doing with the update tag. That even though within the system, I'm asking it to remove those tags on the updates right here, it should be removing that category update. It's not for some reason in some cases. So just one of those Google glitches we need to work around. But we've done the same with another build that's actually prepared and ready to go for a 365 build as well. I don't have it on this particular setup, but it's on another build that we have. And like I said, that's folders versus tags. So it works a little differently, but it does do the job. And we've had similar results. But I'm looking forward to it. I've tested this with series of 40 to 100 to 250 to 400 up to 1,200 emails at a time. I have not tackled the 200,000 email inbox with it yet
So
to see if it could work that way. But
that's how we could help, because we can be in between, right? If there's a way to patch it in between, because we enqueue it and
Yeah.
and hold it, and then rate limit the requests going into N8N. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I think in the end, what we're going to find is we could provide a service to people that has been a widely needed service for a long time. And I'm not saying there aren't other people that have already developed a similar system. I just have not heard anyone talking about Inbox Zero with AI just yet. And
Right.
yet I achieved it in a weekend. And I was like, wow, I think I
Yeah,
found
that's great.
a lot of people could use. So I'll be
cool.
getting with some coders and talking about what we can do for the front end and the database for that as well for the business end, so that a business could store all of that publicly facing data in that container and have that available for outside inquiry at any time. And I think it'd be pretty cool. All right, guys, what else you got? Anything you want to throw on the table before we roll out here today? Again, half hour's fine with me on this podcast as an update. Uh, Jim's got his. Kyrie, what do you got coming up? Anything exciting in the world of AI?
A few different speaking engagements that have been confirmed. I'll probably announce those on one of our upcoming broadcasts. Excuse me. Leland's bug in his throat is contagious over the airways here. I would say I think what's interesting about Inbox Zero is that for most of us it's become a bit of a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Inbox Zero for me is starting a new email address. So
always has been.
But I think what it comes down to is people gravitate from that target of Inbox Zero towards using a ideology around like inbox prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's the piece where some people try to clear it out, but others, they just focus on what the most important thing is. And you doing what you're doing is going to lean into both sides of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Leveraging the things like folders, filters, labels, things like that. That goes without saying. But coupling that with the AI automation part of it is gangbusters, right? Me personally, I have a smorgasbord of how I kind of handle this stuff, from scheduling time, like scheduling email checks, and unsubscribing and declutter is probably the biggest area where I see AI being implemented, where it can go in and there are services out there now that can do that, where they can look at your inbox, see what you have, newsletters and things like that, and bulk unsubscribe to them. Gmail's even got that built in now. They won't go through and delete them, but it'll unsubscribe you from things. You can literally click a button,
and I need to figure out how to incorporate that into this process too, because otherwise it's just going to keep filling the folders with those subscription models that are coming in on the daily or weekly or monthly. And I do want that to be a capability where you would just check a box and say, do you want to unsubscribe from all these newsletters that you have set up, or list the ones that you would want by sender to unsubscribe from, if you can recall the ones you did sign up for, or maybe even have it search and create a back end list that shows up as a pop-up that says, hey, you happen to be subscribed to all of these newsletters since we've checked your emails recently, and you might want to unsubscribe from some of these that you never read anymore.
That right there is
sentiment.
The one. That one right there, where it's like, hey, we have assessed the entirety of your inbox, and you get this amount of emails from these people. Check which ones you want to keep, check which ones you don't, and then let it go on and do a batch function to just get rid of everything.
I think I could do that pretty easily, just to throw a little if then kind of thing off to the side as a side loop on that. We'll have to check into that. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the fact that, Jim, you've established a method to produce the N8N nodes on the other end, so that if we did want to open these access points to clients relatively easily and quickly and have the account ready to go and just get it up and running, it could be done relatively fast and not have people, oh, how do I do this? What's N8N? How am I supposed to open an account? Where do I set up? I'm supposed to connect my Gmail. How? I don't know how to do this. That's what we're trying to get people away from. We don't want them to have to deal with that, because that's the mess right now.
And that goes along with it, right? Like that goes along with the whole email Inbox Zero thing. Like the main thing is managing email isn't about reading everything. It's about prioritizing what moves the needle and automating the rest of it. So it's like the less curve to uptick to skill level that you need, the better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just going to take a quick peek out, see if there's any live chat. I don't believe there is out here, but I'm going to just take a gander. That's about all we got for today. Jim, did you want to close with anything from your end? Are you looking at like opening this in the morning? At the end of the day, it is available now? Or?
At the end of the day. Yeah, it'll be out
Okay.
today. Yep. I just have a couple things on. Turn the wrenches on and it'll be out the door.
Yeah, because I want to show people how to do that on my end too, because we'll be obviously out there demonstrating Jim's product, our product, as we move ahead. So look for us at Best AI TV. If you want to get more notifications of the podcast, just head over to bestai.tv, where there's a form at the bottom of the page. Fill it out and you will be notified every week of our broadcast coming in at 12 noon Eastern on Wednesdays. So come on by next week where we'll be talking about something AI. We never know what. We just come in and take a break from our normal day to let you guys see what's going on the back end. So guys, thanks for coming by as you always do. We appreciate your time as always. So you guys have a good week. Don't work too hard.
Sure.
Stay
Likewise,
above the AI. Don't let it take over. See you guys next time. All right, we're going to try to get out of here in one pinch. I never seem to find the right file here to get out, but we're going to make it happen this time. All right, we're out. See you guys.
We're breaking the mold. With AI fusion, let the story unfold. From after business, the future is here. Unlock the potential, make it crystal clear. It's time to fuse, let the sparks ignite. AI in action, reaching new heights. Love and business blending into one. AI fusion, the journey's just